the returns plus, since that S is common, S times average of now the BA coefficients are not random. For each asset, there is a certain degree of sensitivity to systematic stuff. You may not know what it is, but it's not random in nature. But UA and S are random. After all, they are surprises. Things that are not surprising are not random. Tomorrow I'm going to be a day older, okay? It's not a surprise. So there's nothing random about it. But the day on which I'm going to die, that's a surprise. I mean, I have some sort of guesstimation based on all sorts of stuff, but I don't know exactly on what day I'm going to die. So that part is random. I mean, it's known to God or the divine programmer, as I call it. I know some people take that too seriously. I have this friend that I see all the time at Panera. I mean, this guy is as religious as they get. Sometimes just to piss him off, I say, you know, he says, I hope something this happens. This is, the divine programmer willing. He says, what do you mean? He says, I believe that we're a simulation. So there's a divine programmer. Technically speaking, that's what a God is, okay? It's a divine programmer. But he believes other stuff. He believes actually Jesus is a God. Some people believe it, so that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just faith. There's nothing scientific about it. You can make a scientific argument that there is some sort of divine programmer. Whether you call it God or not, that's your business. The fact that Jesus may or may not be Son of God, it is based on stuff that was told to people, and it was written down 400 years after Jesus was actually born. Stuff changes a lot. Way back when I was still in the industry, we wanted to do an experiment. I called a friend, told him something I knew to be wrong. Okay. I said, such and such is going to happen in such and such company. About half an hour later, it was a positive thing about the company. The stock started jumping. Okay. And people started calling us and telling us this was going to happen. It went up so much, we started to thinking, I wonder if that was actually correct. Stuff changes nature. You guys ever had a chain of whispering something to each other? By the time it goes through 5 people, the entire argument changes. Anyway, this stuff is surprises. Only the divine programmer knows. Or divine programmer throws a dice. Based on the result of that, stuff happens. Now, so this average of expected returns is a constant number. It's known. S is a random number, but this average is a known number. What is most important is that due to so-called law of large numbers, or as I call it, first fundamental theorem of statistics, average of a large number of uncorrelated random quantities that is expected, that have an expected value of 0 is actually very, very close to 0. Actually, so those UAs, they're surprises. So on average, or we expect them to be 0. Okay, the actual value itself is surprise. Every single one of them has a 0 expectation. Their average obviously has 0 expectation. That's, you don't need any law of large numbers for that. But if you average the actual surprises that are uncorrelated, that average is going to be very close to 0 if n is large. Okay, it's called the law of large numbers. Let me give you an example. Let me move this. I'm doing this to keep the black background. I'm going to generate random numbers between -1 and 1, okay? Rand, let's see. The function rand without an argument, it randomly picks a number between 0 and 1. So if I say 2 times rand minus 1, rand can be at most be 1. So this number can be at most be 1. Rand can be it has to be at least 0. So this number will have to be at least -1. Okay? All these numbers are between 1 and -1. I'm going to do a large number of these. In fact, I'm going to do 1,048,575 of those. Okay. Let's calculate the standard deviation of this. It's 0.578. It's a pretty large number. Or let's do this by thousands, by 10,000s. Let's do this. I'm going to make the first one fixed. So average of the first number, average of the first 2, average of the first 3, Okay, it takes a while. It's a lot of calculations. I think it's about a trillion calculations. I kind of overdid it, but I could have simplified it. I didn't. Let's do this. Stop this at 10,000 or so. My 50,000. Eh, come on, man. I definitely need a new computer. Anyway, while Excel is trying to do that, let's talk about it. For now, take it at face value. At faith value, that is true. In fact, that average approaches to zero at the rate of the square root of the number of observations, which means if you double the number of assets, the standard deviation of the average is going to go down by a factor of 141, which is the square root of 2 approximately. Or if you quadruple number of assets, standard deviation of the average return of those is going to go down by a factor of 50%. This means in a portfolio where you have a very large number of uncorrelated idiosyncratic surprises, portfolio return itself is almost totally free of the unsystematic or idiosyncratic surprises.